Will you all cooperate with me today so that I don't get on Sports Center tonight? Can I have a little cooperation from this group? Means ask good questions. I'm just kidding. Look, I was really interested in the tempo today, which was really good after the players were off, kind of a long weekend. I explained to you before, because we moved the A-Day back, we got a little bit more time, so spreading practices out, I think, has helped the teaching, because so far we've always had an off day in between every practice, which has probably been good for the learning curve, especially for the young players. But I would say that we're at the point now where I think it's really important for people to start paying attention to detail. Probably a lot of guys are focusing on what to do, trying to struggle through how to do it, but they also got to understand why it's important to do it, and we got to pay attention to detail in what we're doing. Most of the time when you don't have success, it's not because you didn't have the ability to do it or get it done correctly. It's because you either made a mental error, or you didn't do it exactly right, or you weren't focused on it, and then we end up not playing together as a unit, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams. So as we look ahead, I know we have a scrimmage coming up. The focus so far has really been on installation, and I think that now we got to start focusing on allowing the guys to play. You know, I talk about this just about every year, that, you know, the coaches are out there telling guys what to do, what formation to get in, how to get in it, what route to run, what coverage adjustment it is. But the telling tale is, how do these guys go out there, and we have to give them some space now to get them ready for the scrimmage, to see exactly how they do when nobody's there, sort of looking over their shoulder, making sure they do it right. So that takes a little maturity, but that's the thing that we're looking to do to get them prepared for the scrimmage. And when the scrimmage comes, you know, basically I want to see who can do the fundamental things well. You know, who has the toughness, who's a good tackler, who can block people and get movement on the offensive line, who can hold the point and get off of blocks on defense. So it's not going to be like some schematic sort of escapade in, you know, what we're doing. It's going to be more, how do we execute the fundamentals, especially at this point, and who shows the maturity and capability to be able to do that with any kind of consistency. So that's what we're going to be looking for Saturday. Also this week, we have our annual clinic, which we got a great lineup, including Dan Quinn, Bill O'Brien, David Cutcliffe, Navy's head coach, Tony Sperano, former head coach of the Dolphins, lots of good high school coaches and other college coaches, some of our coaching staff. We try to do the best job that we can to have the very best clinic, to make ourselves available. It's the one thing that we can do to sort of repay the high school coaches professionally for all that they do in helping develop players and promote our game. So we're excited about the opportunity that's coming up to have a lot of guys here, and looking forward to making it a positive experience for them.
Starting up front here with Mark.
Yeah, I want to ask about two seniors, Rashawn Evans and Deshaun Hand. How have you seen them mature throughout their careers and as they step into bigger roles this year?
Right. Well, both guys have made a significant contribution and, you know, played a lot of football around here, and we think both of them are really, really good players, and I think both of them have responded well as starters this spring, and starting to show some leadership. And you know, I've been really, really pleased with those guys, and so hopefully they'll continue to improve and grow, and they'll become the kind of people who can impact other folks on our defense, so that not only do they play great football, but they help others do the same.
Come back to this side with Michael.
I know it's early, but have you looked at anybody with punt return, kickoff return, anybody standing out in that light?
Yeah, well, we're looking at it. I can't really say that we could evaluate it. I mean, we've had, I think, 2 days of kickoff return and 2 days of punt return to this point, but most of it's been fundamental stuff. So I really can't really say somebody's I think we got enough good guys to be able to do it extremely well. I just think we got to develop them and help them understand what that role entails, and I think we'll be probably better than we were a year ago.
Over here on the right with Tony.
What have you seen from Matt Womack, especially stepping up this spring?
Matt's done a really, really good job. He's been playing right tackle. Thought he had a really good off season. He's starting to, body's starting to develop, starting to show a lot of maturity, balance and body control, better conditioning, better ability to sustain, more mental toughness, better idea of what he's supposed to do, grasp of the offense, which allows him to play with more confidence. So, been really pleased with him.
Come back over here with Rayner.
How has the package of 12 personnel evolved in recent years with the versatility of tight ends? And is that a package that you could see using
I
more?
don't know what 12 personnel is. What is 12 personnel? We don't use those terms around here.
Well, one running back and 2 tight ends. And do you think you could use that more given Brian's experience with the position and also the level of depth you have at the tight end position?
Maybe. I mean, I think that's a situational thing. Look, we made a lot more plays around here when we spread people out than we do when we play wad ball, all right, which is what I used to play when I was in high school. Everybody's in a tight formation, so all 11 guys on defense are within a really short area, and you really got to dominate everybody that you block to be able to make plays work. Some people do it more effectively than others. We've been able to do it to some degree around here when we needed to, but I think that's sort of a situational thing, and we'll probably still use it as that, whether it's short yardage, 4-minute, that type of thing.
Come back here in the middle, Alex.
You said earlier this spring that you wanted Jalen to focus on his passing, developing that part of his game a little bit this spring. What are some things you want to see from him in this first scrimmage that indicates that he's making some adjustments and doing the right things there?
Well, I think decision-making, getting the ball out of his hand more quickly, not looking at the rush, not drifting in the pocket, reading and having his eyes in the right place relative to the coverage and the read that particular play has. I think those are the things that are fundamentally what we're trying to get him to improve on, and I think he's doing a much better job, in that regard. He still has the ability to run. He can still make plays with his feet, but that's not really what we want to focus on, right now. And I think he's kind of bought into that and done a really good job with it.
Unless somebody else has one, we'll finish that back here with Charlie.
Kind of bouncing off the tight end position, who have you seen kind of step up in place of O.J. Howard? And we've also seen Ronnie Clark kind of move over to that position. What went into that, and how good is it to see him back on the field after some injuries?
Well, first of all, we've got Hale back. Irv Smith played some last year. Has really shown a lot of potential to either play on the line as a tight end, off the line as an H, or even be flexed out. So he's got pretty good versatility. Miller Forstall played a lot last year for us. He's gotten bigger and stronger, so he'll probably play a little bit more H. He's a little more OJ-like in terms of very good receiver. OJ became a very good blocker, but at early stages of his career, that's one of the things he needed to improve on. I think Miller is making progress in that area. Ronnie, we moved there just to be an H, so that's really what he's being, which is a little bit fullback-like, in some regards. And Major is a young player that looks like he's got some potential and promise to maybe develop into a guy that can do all the things, but it'll take a little while for him to feel confident and comfortable. But so that's what we're working with, and that's kind of the roles that they're playing right now.
We do have one last one here with Chris Walsh.
You kind of mentioned fundamentals with the scrimmage. Damian Harris kind of seems to be like one of those guys who seems he's got all those traits that you're kind of looking for. Is he kind of one of those players that, I don't want to say gets overlooked, but does he get the credit that he deserves?
Look, we think Damian had a great year last year. I think he was hurt a little bit toward the end of the season. probably slowed him down a little bit, but I think the guy gained over 1,000 yards. I think until he got injured, he was probably our most consistent guy at that position, especially to do all things relative to third down, blocking, understanding protection, being a halfway decent receiver. I just think that if he could play at a high standard of consistency all the time, which he's showing at times, but to be able to sustain that, I think that would certainly sort of be the next step for Damian, because he's certainly played some really good football for us. But that was a little bit the whole deal at running back last year. You know, as soon as a guy started to really look good, he'd get beat up a little bit. Next guy'd come in, that guy'd start looking good, he'd get beat up a little bit. So, you know, we feel one of the strengths of the team is the running back position, having the 3 guys back from last year, plus adding a few more that are out there right now that have shown good promise and potential. I think it's one of the strengths of our team, and we'll have to find roles for some of those guys because they're some of our best players at that position. All right, thank you.